I've been trapped here for 78 days. Each passing moment of those 2 months and 16 days brought me more agony than the last. I've been here for 6,739,200 seconds. I just gotta find a way out of here. Gotta work myself to another review somehow. In any way possible.
Hi, welcome to Film Stash. My name is Douglas Campbell. Bong Joon-Ho's latest film, Mickey 17, is coming to theaters soon. I am so excited about it. Like, the trailers look really goofy. It looks like it's going to be a nice time with a little slice of social commentary in there. Whenever a new movie comes out, I usually like to take a slight step into the past before embracing the future. So today, we're going to be talking about his 2019 hit, Parasite. Meet the Kim and the Park families. The Kims are poor and the Parks are wealthy. Kai-woo Kim poses as an English tutor for the Park's teen daughter. Gradually, the Kims form a parasitic relationship to the Parks. As a parasitic interloper threatens this relationship, a battle for dominance ensues. Parasite won pretty big for South Korea because it was the first foreign language film to win Best Picture at the Oscars. Originally, Bong Joon-Ho, he conceived this story to be a play that would go back and forth between the apartment of the Kims, but then also the household of the Parks. And you know what? Like, after seeing the movie, I could totally see how that would work. When it comes to the locations of the movie, they really don't go to too many places. I definitely think it would work out as a play. If Bong Joon-Ho still wants to do it, I'd say go for it. Several aspects of the film were based on Ho's real-life friends and family. The fixation of rocks was inspired by his father, but then the allergy to peaches was inspired by a college classmate actually being allergic to peaches. If you actually read the story about what happened and how they discovered their friend was allergic, it's actually a little terrifying. And what you get from it overall, I think, is a really excellent film that has some decent writing spread throughout it, and a story that's intriguing from beginning to end where you don't even know where it's going. If we look at the story as a whole, Bong Joon-Ho's exploration of upper and lower class relations, it is really interesting. Because despite the symbiosis of the family and it representing the Kims as parasitic and scheming people, it doesn't exactly paint the Parks in a good picture either, because they are very dumb. And their over-reliance on the labor of the Kims and other people, it makes them parasites too. It is very nuanced for a story that tackles this type of theme. Even if you don't want to overthink the themes of this movie, I think it works really well as a suspenseful dark comedy. It has drama, it has comedy, it has thrills and scares. It has a lot of things that make for a really effective film. I'm really hoping this doesn't make me sound uncultured. A lot of the humor with this film, it reminded me of some episodes of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, because the lengths that the Kims go through just to get into the Park household, it is really, really despicable. Almost humorously so. It is so despicable. Like, it's so shocking just to see it play out that I've laughed at it. It's like insane. But at the end of the day, there is a part of their struggle that you can sympathize with. It's just once they reach certain levels that it's kind of like you take a step back and you're like, all right, calm down. Oh my God. Whoa. Before we go any further with this review, don't forget to like this video, share it, and subscribe to this channel. Any help that you can give would be greatly appreciated. My current goal for this channel is to get to hopefully 350 subscribers by the middle of the year. If you guys could help me with that goal and share the love, I would greatly appreciate it. And now, let's get back to Parasite. There will be some light spoilers ahead, so if you guys want to watch Parasite, I highly recommend it. I think it is currently on Netflix right now. Check it out if you don't want to be spoiled. What I think is interesting about the film as a whole is that you have the Kims. They come from a very sympathetic place. Nobody wants to live in terrible housing conditions. Nobody wants to live a lower life than they think they deserve. Then they start throwing humanity aside once they have an end goal in sight. Eventually, the shoe does go on the other foot. They had the opportunity and the privilege to help someone else out who they forced to go to their position, and they say no. And it eventually bites them in the ass later. I think that's a theme that is really important. Ambition, while it is good to have some ambition and to try to improve your life or the life of others, you can't leave your humanity behind. Because if you do leave your humanity behind, and you ultimately try to harm others and to crush everything in your path along to get there, what do you really have to show for it? You kind of lose your soul in the process. So, who's the real parasite? Is it people trying to cling on to others to achieve that dream? Is it the rich clinging on to the poor and their desperation? It's an interesting discussion, that's for sure. And of course, within this movie, there are also subtler details within the plot that support the theme that Bong Joon-Ho is trying to push forward. There's the youngest son, Da-song. He's involved with the Boy Scouts, and his fascination is with Native Americans. We all know the history of the Native Americans, so that definitely fits into the theme of overambition harming others. But then you also have even main plot points. You have the older maid, her name is Moon Gwang. One of her defining aspects is that she is deathly allergic to peaches. If she even looks at it, it is deadly. If you dig deeper into Korean culture, the peach is a symbol of abundance and prosperity. Something so sweet, it can be very toxic to other people. That message is there, but it doesn't stop the plot. It's so subtle, but it works into the main plot point. Oh! Do you know what that means? It's time for intermission. I'll be back. So considering what this movie highlights ultimately, could have gone with Ramadan, but I wasn't able to find any in my local store, so I figured this would be appropriate enough anyway. Yo plays Harvest Peach Yogurt. All right, let's get some yogurt off. I mean, I guess I already tasted it. Just get a better spoonful there. I'm not the biggest fan of peaches, but this is okay. The peach flavor doesn't really dominate the yogurt that much. Some of you are going to love that. It's a lot more solid than I would give it, so I'm going to give that a 7 out of 10. If there's nothing else, peaches are good. I don't know whether to make this a mixed or a negative, because I really enjoyed this movie. Maybe I'll come to a decision further down the line. Its pacing was pretty swift and incredible. I enjoyed just how fast this film went along. It was plenty shocking and surprising. It went by at a really brisk pace. The ending, while poignant, it felt very, 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 very abrupt. I won't spoil how it ends because, again, I highly recommend you check it out. With where the story goes, the ending makes sense. It's just very done, we're done, to where I don't even know if it was a satisfying ending or not. It just felt there. I'm not sure how I would have ended it per se, but I definitely think that it was a vast improvement over it being like a standard liar reveal story. I mean, I guess you do get that, but again, I'm not going to spoil the outcome and how things line up. In the end, Parasite is a darkly comedic cautionary tale on aspiration and how greed can completely consume your soul, and ultimately the class division between the upper and lower class. I would give this an 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed it, and I think it being a foreign film, like for some who might struggle reading the subtitles, I think the story is engaging enough to where you can enjoy it. The subtitles kind of disappear in the back of your mind. It's a pretty good time, despite it being incredibly dark. For this week's recommendation, I am struggling a little bit because back when I covered Furiosa, I already recommended Bong Joon-Ho's Snowpiercer, which I think would still be a pretty good companion piece to Parasite. They definitely cover a lot of similar themes. Also, I would just recommend Snowpiercer anyway, it's a good movie. But if anyone has a good recommendation that would go with Parasite, please let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Well, That's all the time we have for today here on Film Stash. My name is...